Look, I've been on record as saying that I believe that there are people in this country that genuinely could use a little bit of help. And I don't have a problem with, SNAP or food stamps in their in like theory. I've also been on record saying that there's clearly billions of dollars in fraud that must be removed. And I don't think pulling off this Band-Aid is going to be easy. Now, the USDA secretary has just said she will be moving to halt all federal funds for Democrat states who have refused to share the data. Why would you refuse to share the data? We need to have this audited. We've audited a few states and we already seen dead people getting SNAP, illegal immigrants getting SNAP. I 1000% support this. Look, if you're physically disabled, mentally disabled, or for whatever reason you can't work, look, I'm a full-on lib on this. I'm okay with you getting help from the government because a country should take care of its people. That said, if you're a welfare queen, you're collecting someone else's check, or you're an illegal alien, I do not think you should be getting SNAP benefits. I've also been educated by some of my viewers who do get SNAP. It's not quite as much as a lot of us think. And really, a lot of people might just get a few bucks a month to help them out. And they're also working. But there are also a lot of these welfare queens that are giving the hardworking people who just are getting a little bit of extra help, giving them a horrible, horrible look. Let's actually look at this because Walmart's panicking bigly, mostly because what SNAP really is a gigantic subsidy to big food. Walmart gets billions of dollars from SNAP EBT per year. Also, grocery stores across this nation, large grocery store chains, Meijer, whatever you might have up by you, Pick and Save, which is what we have in the Midwest. They're all getting tons of food stamps. And it's a subsidy on top of that to people that make garbage food. You can't use it to buy a nice, healthy, cooked rotisserie chicken for your family, but you can use it on buying like hyper-processed, gross food from the freezer section. Another big problem I have with it. But this is breaking the first step here. The USDA Secretary Brooke Rollins says she will now be moving to halt all federal funding to states who refuse to turn over SNAP data to help root out fraud. 100% support this.
We had a couple of people receiving benefits in 6 states. In February of this year,
there's several people getting benefits in as many as 6 different states.
We asked for all the states for the first time to turn over their data to the federal government, to let the USDA partner with them to root out this fraud, to make sure that those who really need food stamps are getting them, but also to ensure that the American taxpayer is protected.
This is what I voted for. This is a hyper-focused version of Doge. And, Costco, Walmart, all these companies that have been living high on the hog on taxpayer money, which is exactly what they're doing, they're panicking right now because they know that there's an enormous amount of fraud. Now, they're not involved in it, but they know that it's part of it. They know that they're getting it. They know that it's going to go away. And if you look at this, illegals who are stealing taxpayer dollars, they're panicking because they know that once they get the data, it's going to stop the gravy train. Liberals, Democrats, they're panicking because they know, for example, how many do you think illegals are getting food stamps in California alone? How many do you think are in like New Mexico, Arizona? Now, I don't know that Arizona didn't share their data, but California certainly didn't. Minnesota didn't. And look at that. They already had $1 billion in fraud exposed by about 50 Somalians. Who knows how many people are fraudulently taking food stamps in that state? If you're stealing my money via taxes, you should absolutely be subject to full-scale audits. Like 1,000%.
21 states said yes, not surprised. 29 states said yes, not surprisingly, the red states. And that's where all of that data, that fraud comes from. But 21 states, including California, New York, and Minnesota, the blue states, continue to say no. So as of next week, we have begun and will begin to stop moving federal funds into those states until they comply and they tell us and allow us to partner with them to root out this fraud and to protect the American taxpayer. As Joe Biden was working to buy an election a year ago, he increased food stamp program funding by 40%. So now as we continue to roll that back.
Now, 40%, it's also like, look, in the interest of fairness, we also had the lockdowns. We had mass unemployment during the coup, which is certainly part of why we saw those numbers go up, at least in part. That said, why wouldn't you want to open yourself up to an audit? I think it's safe to say it's because they know they have an immense amount of fraud. They know that it's going to hurt the people that are voting for them based on this fraud. They know that the illegals that they're lying about in their country will become exposed, or in their states will become exposed as recipients of tax dollars. And they know just how bad that's going to look. Here in my own state, Wisconsin risks losing SNAP administrative funds. What we know. The Trump administration has warned 21 states, including Wisconsin, those states are at risk of losing federal funds. The fight centers around immigration and SNAP. The food stamp program that helps pay for groceries for 700,000 people in Wisconsin alone. That's too many. That's too many people. What is the population of Wisconsin even? That's way too many. I live here and I don't know the population. 5.9 people. 20% of my state is on SNAP. That's bonkers. 20%. 1 in 5 people in my state are receiving tax dollars for SNAP. Now, I don't know. I'm watching my dogs are on a deer outside right now, hoping they don't jump the fence. We'll see. We'll see. He's very close. No, stay in the yard, Huckapapa, please. Okay, good boy. Anyway, 1 in 5 people in my state. People have no idea how many people are on the government teat with SNAP. It is enormous. And as a Wisconsin resident, I demand my state hand over this data. Why? I don't trust my state to accurately audit this. Here, look at this. Over 1,000 area immigrants lose SNAP eligibility after federal. But why are immigrants getting SNAP? I keep getting told by Democrats that I'm crazy to think that immigrants are getting SNAP, but they are. You're in this country illegally. You're already a drain on the system. I don't want to also pay for your food. I saw this thing yesterday where in some states, I don't know if you guys knew this, I assume if you're in these states, they force you to pay for other people's electricity. I think it was Connecticut. This woman was going over her bill and it had her electric bill, which was like $200. And then she had another $200 on her bill to pay for other people who can't afford electricity. They're just passing it right on to the customers. That's crazy. It seems illegal, but you can't fight it because they have a monopoly. I mean, this is Arizona one of these states? Arizona is not one of those states. Okay, so good. I mean, you have this liberal woman. I don't think it's fair people must work 80 hours per month to get a SNAP. That's 4 hours a day, by the way. And you can volunteer. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do. That's a requirement some people have. I mean, this is the problem. Here's a woman who's obese. Okay. She's clearly out shopping so she can move around. Here's what she says. Now that they're going to require her to work, 80 hours a month, work or volunteer.
I don't think it's fair that he do that, but...
And you were saying...
She also doesn't speak English very well. She's clearly first generation immigrant.
You think it's going to hurt a lot of people?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely it's going to hurt a lot of people.
Where's my free
Because
money,
you never
senor?
know, you know what? Especially now. that we end the holidays, and everybody wants to have a good dinner and everything. And
Yeah, lady, I want to have a good dinner too, but I'm too busy working. I work at Christmas. I haven't taken a day off my live show in 2.5 years. Okay, my live show on this channel has run. On vacation, I record videos. I stay on the job. All right? These people, I know they're not evil. I hope they're not evil. But oh my God, the words coming out of your mouth, the tears in your eyes.
if you don't give it to them, it's going to be really hard.
It's very sudden, and it will affect people negatively.
I don't
care. I don't care. I don't think it's fair to require 80 hours of work per month for food stamps. You're joking, right? This is outrageous. In my state alone, like I said, 1 in 5, so they have the general work requirements. If you're between 16 and 59 and able to work, you will probably need to meet the general work requirements to get SNAP benefits. The general work requirements, including registering for work, participating in SNAP employment and training, or a work fair, if assigned by your SNAP agency, taking a suitable job if offered, and not voluntarily quitting a job or reducing your work hours below 30 a week without good reason. Okay, this seems fine to me. If you can meet the AWAWB ABAWD is you must work at least 80 hours a month, sorry. Most Americans are working that a week at these times. Work can be for pay, for goods or services, unpaid, or even as a volunteer. You must participate in a work program at least 80 hours a month. A work program could be SNAP employment and training, so like webinars and whatever. Like, this is bonkers. Democrats are panicking. Big food like Walmart, Costco, they're panicking, and they should, because Americans are sick and tired of this. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.